Welcome, curious minds, to a world of knowledge and discovery. Welcome to another exciting video, where we'll be shedding light on Wilhelm Johann Karl Zahn. Wilhelm Johann Karl Zahn, 21 August 1800 in Rodenberg, Schaumburg, 22 August 1871 in Berlin, was a German architect, painter, art critic and design researcher, particularly of Roman interior designs found in the ruins of Pompeii. Wilhelm was born as the fourth of 5 children of painter Bernhard Zahn and his wife, Christiane, Weis, according to church records. He attended high schools in Bückeburg and Rinteln, where he received a universal education. It was in Rinteln where Zahn studied the classics under a Professor Stein, who Zahn remembered with particular affection. In this section, we'll be deep diving into professional development, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. Zahn received lessons in architecture and painting from Andreas Range and Sebastian Weigand, a portrait painter, in Kassel, Germany. He also studied under German neoclassical architect and garden designer Heinrich Christoph Jusso. While he was in Paris with his brother Georg and Johann Wilhelm Knoll, he attended the studios of Jean-Victor Bertin, a French landscape painter, and Antoine-Jean Gros, a French neoclassical artist known for his historical paintings completed under the patronage of Napoleon Bonaparte. Following Zahn's stay in Paris, beginning in 1824, he spent 3 years in Italy, particularly in Pompeii, where he made numerous tracings of wall frescoes in the ruins and in the Museo Borbonico, now the National Archaeological Museum, Naples. He superintended excavations at Herculaneum and Pompeii, cast the finest bronzes and silver vases for the Museum Borbonico. After Zahn's return from Italy in 1827, he met celebrated poet and naturalist Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Together with the Grand Duke of Weimar, Goethe introduced Zahn to then Crown Prince, later King Friedrich Wilhelm IV, the Humboldt brothers, Prince Wittgenstein, Schinkel and the sculptor Roch, as well as other art lovers who promoted the publication of Zahn's drawings from Pompeii. In 1829, Zahn became professor in the Prussian Academy of Arts in Berlin. As an architect and interior designer, he decorated many fine houses and villas in the Pompeian style in England and the United States. As we progress, let's shine a spotlight on works and examine its intricate interplay within our topic. Zahn's portfolio: the most beautiful ornaments and strangest paintings from Pompeii, Herculaneum and Staby, published by Verlag Reimer between 1828 and 1830, with 100 plates, many of them printed in color using an improved process in color lithography Zahn invented in 1818. He later continued the successful publication with 2 more volumes of the same size. In addition, he brought out epoch-spanning model works with ornaments. The focus of his research interest was to obtain templates for arts and crafts. However, with increasing scientific research into antiquity and other art epochs, less importance was attached to his publications of most beautiful ornaments and the most notable pictures from Pompeii, Herculaneum and Staby, ornaments of all classical periods of art based on the originals in their peculiar colors. Reimer, Berlin, 20 volumes with 100 plates. The most beautiful ornaments and curious paintings from Pompeii, Herculaneum and Staby, from the original drawings made on the spot. 2nd episode. Reimer, Berlin. The most beautiful ornaments and most remarkable paintings from Pompeii, Herculaneum and Staby, from the original drawings made on the spot. 3rd episode. Reimer, Berlin, 1850 to 1859. Exquisite ornaments from the entire field of fine arts. Reimer, Berlin, 1840 to 1844. 5 volumes with 25 plates. 2nd edition, 1853. 3rd edition, 1870. Internet Archive. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting sampling of reproductions of frescoes and mosaics from Pompeii and Herculaneum by Wilhelm Zahn. 5. Floating mythological figure from Pompeii 1837 by Wilhelm Zahn. Floating mythological figure from Pompeii. Fire frieze from the Temple of Isis in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Frieze from the Temple of Isis in Pompeii. Fire designs from the walls of the House of the Dioscuri Ochre House of Castor and Pollux by Wilhelm Zahn. Designs from the walls of the House of the Dioscuri Ochre House of Castor and Pollux. Fire drawing of Venus Pescatrice Fisherwoman from the Cosa della Pescatrice BII 96360 Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Drawing of Venus Pescatrice Fisherwoman from the Cosa della Pescatrice BII 96360 Pompeii. Fire fresco depicting winged Cupid and Psyche from the west wall of the Exedra in the Cosa di Bronzi Occa Cosa della Paritnera in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Fresco depicting winged Cupid and Psyche from the west wall of the Exedra in the Cosa di Bronzi Occa Cosa della Paritnera in Pompeii. Fire fresco from the House of the Ancient Hunt Occa House of Daedalus and Pasiphae in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Fresco from the House of the Ancient Hunt Occa House of Daedalus and Pasiphae in Pompeii. Fire frescoed wall for House on the Street of Merchants in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall for House on the Street of Merchants in Pompeii. Fire frescoed wall from a tavern on the Strada di Mercurio in Pompeii excavated in 1829 by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall from a tavern on the Strada di Mercurio in Pompeii excavated in 1829. Fire frescoed wall from the Cosa di Bronzi Occa Cosa della Paritnera in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn excavated in 1833. Oc frescoed wall from the Cosa di Bronzi Occa Cosa della Paritnera in Pompeii. Fire frescoed wall from the Cosa di Capitelli Colorati in Pompeii excavated in 1833 by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall from the Cosa di Capitelli Colorati in Pompeii excavated in 1833. Fire frescoed wall from the Cosa del Gran Duca di Toscana in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall from the Cosa del Gran Duca di Toscana in Pompeii. Fire frescoed wall from the Cosa della Seconda Fontana di Mosaico House of the Second Occa small mosaic fountain in Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall from the Cosa della Seconda Fontana di Mosaico House of the Second Occa small mosaic fountain in Pompeii. Fire frescoed wall from the Cosa della Seconda Fontana di Mosaico House of the Second small mosaic fountain in Pompeii excavated in 1827 by Wilhelm Zahn. Op frescoed wall from the Cosa della Seconda Fontana di Mosaico House of the Second small mosaic fountain in Pompeii excavated in 1827. Fire frescoed wall from the Villa of Diomedes Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Frescoed wall from the Villa of Diomedes Pompeii. Fire mosaics from the Temple of Venus left and Cosa del Iside Etio right Pompeii by Wilhelm Zahn. Mosaics from the Temple of Venus left and Cosa del Iside Etio right Pompeii. Fire painted columns and capitals from Cosa del Bacanti, Cosa di Salisio, Cosa del Centro, Cosa di Capitelli Colorati, Cosa del Porto Tragico in Pompeii. Wilhelm Zahn painted columns and capitals from Cosa del Bacanti, Cosa di Salisio, Cosa del Centro, Cosa di Capitelli Colorati, Cosa del Porto Tragico in Pompeii. Firewall pattern from the Cosa del Centro in Pompeii excavated in 1829 by Wilhelm Zahn. Wall pattern from the Cosa del Centro in Pompeii excavated in 1829. Fire Whiticola of a wall fresco from a house between the Forum and the Temple of Hercules in Pompeii by Wilhelm Johann Karl Zahn. Whiticola of a wall fresco from a house between the Forum and the Temple of Hercules in Pompeii. Fire fresco from Herculaneum by Wilhelm Zahn. Apollo, god of music and the arts, watching a female artist. Fresco from Herculaneum. Apollo, god of music and the arts, watching a female artist. Fire cross section of the Cosa Zorgo Occa Cosa di Perzo e Medusa in Herculaneum excavated between 1828-1838 by Wilhelm Zahn. Cross section of the Cosa Zorgo Occa Cosa di Perzo e Medusa in Herculaneum excavated between 1828-1838. Fire painted capitals from the Cosa Zorgo in Herculaneum excavated in 1830 by Wilhelm Zahn. Painted capitals from the Cosa Zorgo in Herculaneum excavated in 1830. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and share it with someone who might benefit from it.